What's up, y'all? Snipes-n-Snarfblatts, your unauthorized place for Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. I am your host, Jason, and if you can't tell already, I just walked out of Avengers Endgame. And first and foremost, that was the fastest 3 hours and 20 minutes or so and some change of my life that I have ever spent. Because, man, this thing just blows by. Non-spoiler, no spoilers at all. This will be my first thoughts review. That's going to be kind of difficult for this one because almost anything I say to build on this will be a spoiler. So for first thoughts, that's going to be easy. But any of y'all that pay attention know I like to do a more in-depth review in writing throughout the weekend. And that one might take an extra day this time just because it's going to be really hard to talk about this movie in depth without giving out spoilers. Because we were right on so much, and that's only because just so much happens in this movie. And what's crazy is, while we were right on so much of our speculation, this movie still continues to surprise and entertain and just reveal. Some time has passed since we've seen these folks, and what they've become since you've seen them is almost completely different than when you saw them last. And I just, the way they handle everything in this movie, I completely guessed the opening before we went in. I knew exactly what we were going to have to sit through. And man, that first hour and is just gut-wrenching. I had so much sobbing behind me and tears between all the loss that they get into from the effects of Infinity War. It just was, oh man, like I said, whole theater crying. But it was Marvel. They make sure at the proper times to just kind of even up all of that with some lightheartedness, and they just do that so perfectly throughout this. And I think that's what makes the course of time go by so fast while you're watching this movie. Because from the jump, I mean, like I said, it's you dealing with the effects of Infinity War and every single thing that happened, and you've just got to face it. They lost. And they've got to deal with that. And watching it is really hard because you get to go through some things. And I think one of the major beauties of this as the movie unfolds, because if you haven't heard, the last hour of this movie is every single thing you've ever wanted. And speaking of every single thing you ever wanted, I feel like the Russo brothers have listened to everything we've ever wanted to happen to this. And I mean, this has things for the people who watch the movies. This has things for people who love the comics. It has so many just great payoffs to things we've asked for and we've wanted to see throughout the course of the MCU that we get right here throughout from the beginning to the climax of this movie. That's one of the best things it does. And the other thing it does just so grandly and just epically blows my mind on how they managed to do this. But they've said this will be an ending to the MCU as you know it, and where we go from here will be new territory, and to treat this like it is the end of 22 movies. And you know what? Somehow, some way, they have brought a sense of culmination to all 22 movies all at once right here. And I think it's just so, like I said, mind-blowing how they were able to draw all of that together and give. I've seen trilogies that don't have as perfect of a ending as we got right here. This is and this is 22 movies in, and they managed to capture the spirit of everything and just give you everything you wanted throughout all of these, and still give you a sense that there's something more to come. And the crazy thing is, the something more to come really seems more like a beginning than anything, making this a true end game as we still go in the beginning of the next just world of Marvel. It's so masterful how they done this. If you didn't get it, I highly enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed every bit of this movie. I mean, there are a couple things that you could shy up to maybe being a little too convenient, but it's a comic book movie. there's going to be convenience. That's what happens in the comic books. So, I mean, I immediately threw those right out of my head. You'll know them when you see them because they're just very convenient circumstances that make some of the plot keep going. And I don't care. Like I didn't care at all. I knew it was that, and I just... It didn't matter because of how great this movie was as a whole. I have never seen a theater roar into applause as much as this theater roared into applause. And it was crazy because, I mean, you know, me being into comic books as much as I'm into comic books, there were things that I kind of caught on to before the rest of the cast caught on, or the rest of the cast of people watching caught on to, you know what I'm saying? And it was great because I'd be like, oh, out loud, and I could hear no one else really get into that. And then all of a sudden just erupt in just craziness, and everybody loses their mind. And I just, y'all, this movie is great. It is a perfect run for the 10 years to come to this. I can't wait to see what else comes out of the Marvel camp after this. But Russo brothers, you outdid not only yourselves, but anyone who's ever completed any type of project even near this scale. Like, just, oh man, this was... Stan Lee would be proud of what you finished and made. I'll say that if no one else will. Stan Lee would be proud of what I just watched. I just watched just a pure awe. I've got a 5-year-old that literally just sat through this whole movie, did not doze off, did not get up, didn't even finish her drinking popcorn. She was mesmerized by the unfoldings of the screen. And considering the roller coaster of emotions that was involved, that's a really tall statement, because it wasn't like this thing was an action fest. But when it becomes it, oh man, does it become it. Like, you just... why are you still listening to me right now even? You should be going to see this movie if you have not seen it. Go see this movie. See it as big as possible. See it 2 or 3 times. Like I said, it's the fastest 3 hours and some change of your life that you will ever go through. I not only highly recommend this movie, you have to see it in the theater. And if you have any way to play catch up on every single thing up until this point, you will not hate yourself for doing it. It will be the most grand payoff ever. In fact, I cannot wait for this movie to come out on Blu-ray or disc, however I wind up watching it, because I am going to sit through every single one of these until I get to that point. Because it was just, oh man, y'all got to see this. It was totally amazing. Perfect send-off to everything we know as the MCU now and to what it is born into until. Like I said, I'll do one, I'll write one out. It's going to be a little more in-depth. First thoughts are, though, 2 thumbs up. Go see this movie yesterday. It was great. So, like I said, be on the lookout. All the links are going to be down there as usual. Facebook, Twitter, the website. That'll let you know exactly when it hits and when I put the more full review up there where I really get into all this. But straight out the gate, amazing roller coaster emotion, amazing action, a little bit of convenience, but they did every single thing you ever wanted them to do, even if you didn't expect they would actually go through with it. They did that. And that is just what makes this just epic is the word for this movie. I know everyone throws around that word a lot, but epic is the word for this film. So like I say, go down there and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Be on the lookout for the actual more full. It will still be a non-spoiler review because I do not do spoiler reviews. But until I get that and until I see y'all next time, whatever it takes.